Then we have Glenn.
Hello. Hi
Glenn's
guys.
going to talk about his experience. When did you start to prepare for HESI?
So I started trying to prepare for HESI during the summer. I tried to read the book that Professor Harrison actually told us to start reading, but I didn't really get to finish reading it all of it. I only read like a few things. But my main study session was probably maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the exam. I was really packed with my internship and other classes, so
Right.
I didn't really have time to actually full-time study for the HESI. So it was about 2 to 3 weeks before.
Yeah, because I was packed with the exams. Cardio and pulmonary were heavy.
They
So
were,
we
they,
had to study for those.
it was really important, but it took a lot of my time studying for those exams.
Yeah. So tell us about the resources you used.
Okay, so some of the resources that I used for the HESI specifically was I read through the HESI exam study textbook. I didn't really read through the whole thing. I only focused on the HESI hints. I know that some people read the whole book and they did very well on their exam. I didn't have time to read the whole thing. My main resource was Your Best Grade. I did a lot of tests, questions. I think that really helped me pass on my second time. But on my first time, I didn't really do as much as I could have done. The other resource that I mainly focused on the first time was Mark Klimek videos. His videos focus more on strategies, not on just content. Because I feel like for me, I know a lot of the content, but on my HESI, on my first time, I didn't do too well on the strategies portion of the HESI. So like the easier questions were a little bit harder for me just because they were easier and I really overthink
Always overthink.
questions.
That's
Yeah,
my problem too.
Exactly. But like on, for instance, MedSurg, I did really well on those sections because it's just content based, and
Yeah.
I'm really good with my
You're strong.
cardiology, with my pulmonary, and all the other systems in the body except for fundamentals.
Right, that's too far away from us. It was like the first year in nursing school.
Right.
And we have never really reviewed those content. And also, can you talk about a little bit about the access to Mark Klimek? So does he upload any video on YouTube, or how did you get
So
his resource?
so one of my friends actually sent me a link to a few of his videos. They're a bit older videos, but they are still very helpful.
Also, I thought maybe a few years ago, our school scheduled a meeting with him, and he probably had maybe 3 days. I don't know how many days course with our students.
Wow, I didn't really know that.
Yeah, I think our school did it, but I don't know why this year we didn't do it.
Yeah, he's definitely a really good resource. He doesn't focus on the content because I feel like a lot of us, as much as that we say we don't know a lot of the content, we do, and I feel like his main objective is to focus on ways to answer questions. Like for me, one of my focus was going to be pharmacology for this exam, but I was surprised to say that pharmacology was not a big part of this exam. It was pretty much like medications put into questions, but it wasn't the main focus of that question. It probably like some type of some formula or some type of just calculation. Those were mainly for the pharmacology portion. Yes, there might be 1 or 2 questions that are focusing on the side effects or effects of the medication, but I feel like a lot of the pharmacology portion of this exam was on medication administration, and a big portion of the exam was medication administration.
Right.
And I think rather than focusing on knowing what those medications do, side effects, etc., you should focus on how to administer an IM injection, when to administer them.
Focus on safety.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Focus on safety and medication administration for pharmacology. That's like one of the main things I would like to
The
focus
exam
on.
twisted my expectation on pharmacology portion too, because I studied so hard on memorizing all the different side effects between different medications, because some medications will have similar side effects. I don't want to be tricked on those.
Right.
things. So I really focused on remember specific side effects for each specific medication, but it didn't appear like that. The question asked was like Glenn said, focused on safety. But maybe we had different questions than other students. I don't know. But still good to learn the side effect, different
Yeah,
side effects.
it's definitely, I wouldn't say learn every single side effect. That's not what the HESI is testing us. Yeah, something that I think they focus on HESI is for pharmacology specifically. It's not the specific effects of every single drug, but the specific effects of families of drugs. So for instance, if you know what the side effects of beta blockers are, I think, and you know how to classify beta blockers, the OLOLs, I think you are set to definitely pass this HESI. But don't focus on every single drug. Focus on the main importance of those drug classifications.
Right. Did you have a study plan?
That's a funny question, because I remember that our professor actually made us do a study plan early in the semester.
Yeah.
I sort of had a study plan, but I kind of made one up. I won't lie, I kind of made one up. I didn't really follow through with it because I know for myself, I don't really follow with specific plans, because my plans usually change as the semester goes.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to keep up with that plan. If I feel like I had more time, maybe more structure in my schedule, I probably would have followed that the study plan.
Of
But
course.
I didn't really have a study plan to go
We
by.
had meetings like every month with our professor to explain what your plan is to our professor. It's like a task for us. We all have a plan, I'm sure, in order to pass that class. That's an assignment. But I don't think a lot of us really stick to that plan. It's
Yeah,
just,
I don't believe so either. But it would have been really helpful though if we did stick to that plan.
Right.
But it was just really
We
hard
don't have time for it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really hard.
Do you remember how many questions did you practice on? Beside the questions that we have to do for the class.
So like I said, I used your best grade. And on the first time around, I probably only did close to 700 questions. But my second time around, I probably did about 1,000 questions. In addition to the 700 questions.
So totally you did like 1,700.
Yeah,
Okay.
about 1,700 total. But I feel like for my first time around, I kind of just did like a bunch of random questions. But on my second time around, I focused on those topics I got wrong.
Okay.
Specifically, like I said, medication administration, safety, and a little bit of psych, because that was like one of my weakness.
Yeah. Do you mind to share what is your average accurate rate on the QBank?
For the QBank,
Yeah.
it
I
was
know
definitely
mine was 55%.
on your best grade.
Yeah, mine was below the average performance of all the students who used the resource. And I was terrified because, oh no, this is not good.
For me, I was actually above the
average.
the average, but I still didn't pass on my first try. So I wouldn't really make the average as like a good indicator if you pass or not.
What did you learn from first try? Did you analyze what was the reason you didn't pass? Because you did pretty well.
I did pretty well. For my HESI, I actually got a 895 and we needed a
Wow.
900. So I was a little bit distraught because I was
Wow.
5 points off from
You're talking
passing.
about QBank or the first try?
For the first try.
You
I was-
had almost same score head on head.
Yeah, I was actually talking with her,
Oh,
and we were like,
no.
we went through
One
the 5
question.
stages of grief that week, but
Were you buddies after the exam?
we were definitely sharing some resources and
Oh,
definitely
that is
studying.
helpful.
It was very
to
helpful.
Protect your mental health.
It was. You need somebody. If you're studying for an exam, it's definitely very helpful to have somebody there. One, to be accountable for when you're studying. And second, if you don't do too well, you have somebody to lean on because you need that support system.
Right.
Support system is what you need for nursing school.
Definitely, definitely. The group study It's really helpful. I saw some posts of you and Hannah having a study session. I guess that was the period of time between two exams. You guys study together or encourage each other, support each other, and I believe it is really important.
Yeah, the week we were studying before our second exam, we actually had a few study sessions where we didn't mainly focus on answering so many questions. We mainly focused on how to answer these questions appropriately, like the strategies that I mentioned earlier. That's what we mainly focus on, not on content. Because content, you can know every single thing about disease, but the way the question is worded, if you don't know how to answer that question appropriately, you're still gonna get it wrong, even though you know the content.
Right. That's very important and why we have question bank. So you had the book, you had your best grade, and Mark Klimek audio. That was all the resources you used, right?
I believe that was all the resources I used, yes. For the HESI, yes, I did.
Yeah. What did you do a day before your first try?
So my first try, I tried to cram as much as I can.
Really? You're supposed to have a distressed night.
See, I did it two different ways. So my first try, I tried to cram as much information as I can because I was very anxious about the exam, and I'm like, oh, I need all this information in my head, like now, right here, because I know by 24 hours everything's gonna be gone. But then I would have done the test itself, and I'm like, I'm fine for now. That didn't work out.
Did you sleep?
I didn't sleep. That was probably why. I didn't pass the first
It's
try.
all like a salad in your mind.
It was probably a salad. Yeah, I could probably describe it as a salad. But the second time around, I definitely did not study I probably just did like one or two 40 questions in the morning.
Still
But then like in the
morning of the exam day?
No, not that exam day. The day before the exam. The day before the exam.
Okay.
I only did like a few questions early in the morning. I went to the gym with my friend.
Oh, that's
and
good.
Then,
Gym.
Yeah.
Big tip.
Self-care.
Because when you exercise, your mind become clearer. You process stuff more quickly.
Right.
And I feel like you were almost trying to grill or bake your brain the first try. You
Yes.
can't do that to yourself before exam.
I learned that the hard way, but the second time I learned from friends that they took the day off, and I did the same. I took the half of the day off, so afternoon, like after I got back from the gym, I took the day off, watched a movie, hung out with some friends, and just relaxed for the whole day. I didn't touch anything nursing material-wise. I had it on my desk, but I never touched it because I was like, I either know it or I don't, and it worked out for me the second time around.
Yeah. So is there any tip you used or strategy you used to overcome the anxiety during the exam?
Okay, so one of the things that I definitely would recommend everyone to do is to have a really good night's sleep. A good night's sleep the day before the exam. Have breakfast in the morning. Don't touch those materials. Don't touch any nursing materials. Definitely have prayer in the morning. That definitely was very helpful for me. It kind of took out all that anxiety when I went to the exam room. If you want to, you can bring a snack. I brought a snack in because I knew that if I was gonna get really hungry, if that's distracting to me, then I won't be focused.
Your brain need glucose.
Exactly. You need that glucose because your brain does need glucose to work. And just take a deep breath. You go in before you even start the exam. Take a deep breath. Say a quick prayer if you need to, and just take your time. The exam is going to be about 5 to 6 hours. Take your time. Don't rush through it, because the first time around I did it in about 2.5 hours. I didn't pass.
What? 2.5 only?
Only 2.5.
You probably was the most fast.
I thought I finished too early because I still saw a bunch of people in the room. The first time around, but the second time around, I took about 3.5 hours to finish it. So I took my time. I wrote down every single question. I started with what the problem was, wrote that down, and then what is it asking for, and the solution. because each question can be very tricky, because they can be the right answers, but those right answers are for different questions. Yeah, once you have an answer, definitely go back to the question, see if that question matches the answer.
Right. It's a huge tip.
That's definitely a huge
Did you have any moment? I'm not sure I know the right answer. I definitely don't know the answer.
I think there's a lot of questions that I felt like I didn't know the answers to, especially those select all applies. I had one after the other and after the other,
Oh my
and I was
goodness.
like, this whole test is just select all the apply.
Yeah.
And I just had to get up, use the bathroom,
Yeah.
come back, take a deep breath, and then look at the answer again with a fresh
Clear
mind.
mind,
Exactly,
yeah.
a clear mind. And I definitely don't know how well I did on those select all apply, but definitely if you feel like you have to take a deep breath and you have to do something else, not just focusing on that exam, definitely stand up, use the bathroom,
Yeah.
eat your snack and drink your water, close your eyes for a few seconds. Definitely you can take your time on this exam. You're not gonna use up all 6 hours of this exam, but you can definitely take your time rather than just rushing through 10 questions and getting them all wrong.
You know, the strategy I used for SATA question, because we can't go back to remediate on the exact questions, I can't tell you if I got them right or wrong, but since I passed, the strategy I used, I would select the definitely correct answer, I know for sure. And then if there are questions that looks right, if there is anything that I doubt about that answer, I won't pick it. Even though it could be a right answer, I won't pick it, because according to the Kaplan study session, they mentioned that a lot of students pick more than the correct answers instead of picking less than the correct answers.
And make sure, if you don't know like a question option, if you've never seen or heard about it, don't pick it,
Right.
because it's more than likely not the right answer.
Yeah.
And
Just trying to distract you.
exactly, trust yourself. Like, if you've never seen it, don't pick it. Even though it might be right, you don't know, just don't pick
For
it.
sure, yeah.
Don't pick it at all.
How did you feel the last try when you see your score?
I had to close my eyes before I clicked on the continue button to see my score. I had to close my eyes and I peeked and I saw 9 and I'm like,
Oh yes!
and I'm like, oh, I don't really care what other numbers come after that.
Right. The
because
first digit matters.
The first digit matters. The first digit matters. And I'm like, God, thank you. I had a huge relief coming from me,
Of
because
course.
I failed the first time and I knew I had to pass this the second time around, because there's so much anxiety
Yeah.
that was already built up.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I think I teared up a little bit.
Of course.
I teared
of
up a little
course.
bit.
Everybody will.
There was just, I knew that the amount of time that I've been in nursing school, I know that there's been so many exams that stressed me out, but I believe that this was the most stressful exam that I've ever had, and passing that
Definitely.
was really relieving. It really is relieving.
Definitely. Any word of encouragement for those might take it repeatedly, or for our class of 2022?
So for repeated exam takers, I know there's still a few of us that need to retake it. I know that I've already told a few of my friends that have to take it this too many times, that definitely have prayer, have faith. Although those are just saying like encouraging words, but I know that you guys are really smart. You've made it through the hardest years of your career, and definitely be thankful. Be thankful that you guys are able to be in this situation, and don't
Embrace
think,
it.
Exactly, embrace it, and don't think that just because one grade does not determine who you are.
Right.
The amount of hard work you guys put into this program, the amount of nights that you guys lost, the amount of studying times you have put into this. I know you guys worked so hard for this program, and don't let this one thing defeat you, because I know you guys can do it. And
Sure.
and we're praying for you. Definitely, we're praying for you.
Yeah.
And if you guys ever need help, definitely I'm here to definitely study with you guys, because we still have our NCLEX coming up.
Right. The
And-
students group study.
And
study group.
definitely I could still use some study sessions. So if you guys need some
For
study
sure.
sessions,
Yeah.
let me know.
Yeah, I have always been praying for whoever is taking the HESI, have clear mind is very important, because by now you survive the nursing school. You learn everything you need to know. You just need to know how to pick the right answer, really focus on what is the question asking for.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
What do you wish you had done differently?
I think there's a lot of things that I wish I could have done differently. Probably one of the things is make time for the HESI. I know that we have a lot of things going on our last semester, but definitely winter break. You should even before that you should start looking over the HESI book. Definitely, I think if I read through the HESI book, I think I would be more prepared.
Right.
The other thing is focus on the strategies after
Yeah.
you read the HESI book. Don't focus on every single section, like every single system. Focus on the ones that you believe that you are weak in. Like for me, my weak points was probably maternity and psych, and I focused a little bit on those, but I think I could have focused more, because if I probably got like 2 more questions right on maternity or psych, I could have passed on the first try.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely focus on the ones that you are weak in. Don't focus on the ones that you already know. I think that's really a waste of time, especially if you are on a time constraint like I was. It would have been really helpful to just focus on the ones that I was really
Right.
weak in.
Now is that the summer break. You guys really have a really nice long time to prepare. I know you guys just finished the finals. Of course, you guys probably don't want to watch this video. Probably this video will be helpful for you later, but definitely start as soon as you can. And don't force yourself to make it too hard for yourself. Maybe just read 1 chapter per day, or just one topic or one disease per day, but definitely start already.
And definitely do questions, because as much as you focus on those content, the way that questions are worded on the HESI is gonna be something else. Definitely focus on questions rather than just the content wise. Maybe have a balance between the two. If you
Yeah.
do content, definitely test yourself on those content.
Right. I guess you haven't started to study for NCLEX. None of us have started yet. We deserve the break. But is there a way to combine our resource? Financially, it would be helpful.
So financially, I've already invested on a few resources since my junior year,
Okay.
and I still have that resource
Okay.
that I'm planning on utilizing. I'm probably still gonna use Your Best Grade, or I'm probably also gonna get UWorld. I know it's a little bit expensive for a few,
Yeah.
but financially, I'm probably just gonna go with Your Best Grade, because
Yeah.
although it's a little bit, it's not as expensive, but as UWorld, it's still very helpful. The amount of questions that it provides and the content that it provides is still very helpful. But I don't think I'm gonna invest in
Anymore.
any more than I have to.
Okay. So you're going to have Your Best Degree and Kaplan. Kaplan, I think they have the upcoming senior student already had that during their junior year, because it was required for med-surg class, right?
Right.
And in that website, they have channel, which give you a bunch of videos talking about different topics, and they have question bank. I think it's more than 2,000 questions. So that should be enough. More than enough.
That should be more than enough, because for Your Best Grade, you have about 3,500 questions plus Kaplan. If you want to use Kaplan, that's about 6,000 questions at your arsenal. So
Yeah.
I think you would be able to pass your HESI and NCLEX utilizing both of those resources.
All right, I think we have done a great video. Do you have any other topic you want to add to this video? Take your time.
One of the things that I want to emphasize for nurses and nursing students is have self-care. One of the things that I feel like a lot of us have neglected is caring for ourselves. We've been focusing on exams, tests, quizzes, and projects and papers, and that takes a lot of time from not only ourselves but also our friends and family members. definitely take time to have worship, have time to actually get something to eat, have time to actually go for a walk. Set aside some time during the day for yourself. If you need to study for the whole day, you can study for the whole day, but stop at a certain time. Have time to eat, have time to go to sleep. Because for me, especially my junior year, I did not have any sleep, and I neglected a lot of the things that I should have done. And I'm trying to make it up now.
Yeah.
But I think that like going to the gym, definitely eating a healthy meal is going to help boost not only your immune system, but also your mind. A clear mind helps you to study.
Yeah.
And if you're just going to be not eating, not doing all these self-care, all that studying is just going to go to waste because you're not retaining all that information.
Correct. Yeah, correct. Well, thank you, Glenn, for sharing all the experience.
Of course. Well, thank you for letting me join. I really appreciate this.
I really worry that you won't, because I would love the people who didn't pass the first try to share their experience because it's more powerful, more encouraging. I'm so thankful that you did.
Of course,
Thank
of course. Thank you again, Ping.
No problem.